Hey, Shrewdness fans. Welcome to the podcast today. We have entered the final week of the Guillotine Fantasy Football season. I almost made it.
Your tone gave it all away. Your poker tone. Our Hydra heads of
so close.
I was so close, and
you're still a fumble away.
Yeah.
You can still happen if he comes back in just to fumble it.
In the process of losing my head.
This is the acceptance phase, is what we call this.
It is. It's falling into the basket underneath the knife.
Right.
And the only way is if we bring Jacobs back into the game right this second, hand off, fumble, and then you win. Then you win.
And I win.
That's all you got to do.
1.2? Is that where we're at right now?
Yeah, let me look. Live scoring, refresh. Yeah, 124.74 to 123.56.
Oh,
1.2.
Less than.
Gross.
Less than 1.2.
That's gross. But so goes the fantasy season. As we keep reiterating, you got to have a little bit of luck to take it into the house.
Your goal is to get to the Final Four. You get to the Final Four, you're flipping coins.
Yeah.
For the next 3 weeks.
This was Fantasy Pros did me wrong this week. Shrewdness listeners, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Josh Allen was supposedly the number one quarterback to start this week.
I think he's probably earned that right the last few weeks, getting 500 points per week.
He turned in an 11, which was not ideal against the hapless Patriots.
Which we also highlighted earlier this season that he's due for one of those, but he didn't have any until this week.
Well,
really.
he had
some lower ones.
He had an 8 something, and he had a 11 or a 9 something.
So wow, really?
Yeah, early in the season.
Yeah, I don't even remember those. It's been so long.
So this is his worst week since week 5. I think I looked. It was week 5.
Wow.
Saquon had a nice game.
Welcome back.
Welcome back,
Saquon.
Mr. Carter.
That's right.
I had to start Rico Dowdle instead of Kamara.
Yeah, your ecos didn't work out.
That hurts. The ecos hurt you.
Yeah, you went to eco squared. You got eco nothing.
Rico and Nico combined for 21 points instead of the 35 they were supposed to get me or whatever.
Ugh. Yeah, that don't work in championship week.
And then the biggest
semifinal week.
The biggest kick in the nuts was Trey McBride's worst week of the year.
That hurt.
5 points.
It was unfathomable that they just refused to get him the ball. And then what's funny, I was watching a little bit of it. I mean, Red Zone just gives you what you get.
In a game they're losing.
But he almost got in the end zone again. He gets, every time he's in the end zone with a pass coming at him, P.I. Mug City.
Yes.
Like you could file charges every time he gets a ball thrown at him in the end zone. And it happened again.
They just straight tackle him.
Again. Yeah, they just tackle him. Nope, not this time. You're getting 0 this year, buddy. And here it is on the 1 yard line. And here comes James Conner. Vulture.
Right. Vulture.
And I think, Kyler ended up getting one too, but it wasn't a close one. It wasn't any tush-push crap that Jalen
he had a long run.
Around the end.
Yeah. But it was pretty good for a different league. But Chisholm, you kept your head. You're moving on to the finals for the re-league. Tell us about the week.
Kept my head, and I don't know how because the week started.
You had an early scare in the early
The week
games.
started with my starting quarterback, Jalen Hurts, leaving in the first quarter with a concussion.
Even though he had a hell of a first quarter to get you some points anyway.
He got me 4.5 in that first quarter. He had 41 rushing yards, which wasn't...
Exactly.
He had 11 passing yards.
11.
Not
11 passing yards.
Because Saquon got like 109 in the first quarter to help everybody else out finally. If you're still in the league. So
that's right.
Padog almost got taken to the glory.
But and then I also promptly benched one Jonathan Taylor, who put up 39.8 points on my bench. So I was like, okay, this is it. I accepted in the early games. I was like, yep, this is what happens when you get eliminated. You do stupid stuff like this. Well, can't help the Hurts thing.
Yeah.
But I started Bucky Irving over
Good game,
Jonathan Taylor.
He didn't lose you too much, though. I think he still lost probably net 15, but
21.
It could have been way worse.
Could have been way worse. But, yeah, I didn't have any complaints. Trey McBride, I started as well. So I got 5 spot from him. So when you get 4.5 from your quarterback and 5 from your tight end, you're pretty much cooked.
Woo!
However,
You're treading uphill.
one, Justin Jefferson put up 36.4 for
He's
me.
back, baby. JJ's back because Say My Name is trying to win Comeback Player of the Year.
Yes, he is.
He has did you know he had the 4th highest quarterback rating in the NFL? I didn't.
No.
I knew he was doing pretty well.
That.
He's also top 5 in touchdowns, top 5 in yards.
He's having an incredible season.
It is. I'm like, I can't believe it because we keep waiting for him. Like, all right, it's going to fall off the cliff.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe that's what number 3 overall picks do in their 6th season in the league or whatever the heck it is.
It's not going to happen until
He's
the playoffs.
just a late bloomer.
Yeah, I mean, well, there are cases for that, i.e. every single generational talent quarterback in Green Bay has not played for 4 years, and then they show up and like, oh, they're actually pretty good. And you just kind of watch for a while and practice with NFL players and defenses for 4 years.
Yeah, it's amazing when people actually sit like they used to, like Patrick Mahomes for a season.
Yeah.
Or
and that's
Tom Brady.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, back in the day when they actually like had to learn their craft before they got thrown to the wolves.
Yeah, it was unheard of for a rookie to start back in the day.
Yeah.
Now it's well, it's the end of September. What are we waiting for?
Right.
Yeah.
It's time.
It's week 5. Let's go.
It's time. I don't think Darnold's collapsing until the playoffs.
I don't think he'll collapse in the playoffs either. I think he's kind of shown everything he needs to show, but that's another topic for another day. We'll get to those later when we get to the playoffs.
So I also had Justin Jefferson 36. I had Brian Thomas putting up 28. I had James Cook put up 27.6. The whole rest of the team balled out. Jamar Chase 22. Amon-Ra 19. So I had a good rest of the team, and it gave me just enough in the re-league. I put up 161 points. Guy that got cut got 141. So I ended up with 20 points clear.
Jacobs got benched in the second half for kicking
good
too
thing
much
Jacobs
ass in
got
the first half.
Because he needed 40 from Jacobs to oust me. He got 19 in the first half, and I was sweating a little bit. But since the Saints have decided to not show up at all this game, the backups have come in. Yep. So I'm in my first ever finals. So I'm very excited about that. So now it's a total coin flip. We'll see how it goes. Playing Adam in the Zombie League. Adam, shout out to Adam. May the best manager win.
Zombie Burrito.
And Zombie Lumpy Burrito is in the finals with me. So this should be a fun matchup. But it just goes to show, we were talking before we got on air in the Patreon portion of the podcast, that it truly is, when you get to this stage, everybody's got all-star teams. So
just luck.
Things to take you down, injuries, which is why I thought I was done. Starting the wrong guy, which sometimes you just don't know, right?
Yep.
Sometimes you don't know. It's a guess. And then like the stuff you don't really think about when you're drafting, but maybe you should, because when you're drafting, you're just trying to get to this point, right? You're not thinking, but like and you don't know who's going to be good or bad. What teams are going to be good or bad. So when you get to this point, you're like, oh God, like matchups really matter, right? Because I go into my championship week and I'm like, ooh, who are my guys going up against this week? Are they going up against a team that is giving up? And if so, are they going to put up a bunch of points? Or are they going to blow them out and be benched in the second half and I'm not going to get any points out of that? Right? There's stuff like that you got to take into account.
Yep.
Which you didn't think about when you were drafting. So you're just happy to get to this place. When you get to this place, it really is a coin toss. But this is what you're trying to do. And so, I didn't get here the honest way. I'll be honest, like I'm in a re-league. So I got cut and then we redrafted and I'm in the finals this way. But
that's what makes it fun, though. I mean, there's a lot of ways to play Gio, and I think a lot of the best leagues, i.e. our leagues for sure, they all have like a component, like the last – like, is it what, week 9 or 10?
Yeah, I got cut in like the last week that I could have been in the
week 9's the halfway point.
Okay, so I think that's what we do. So the first 9, if you get cut in the first 9 weeks, you get to play in another one.
That's right.
That's a lot of fun because, for one, it keeps you in the whole season. So you would have been done 2 months ago. That's not fun.
That's
so
right.
So now you get another chip in a chair. It's like, let's settle up at the other table. And it's just fun. So it's awesome. I'm glad we do it. I'm in the championship. Yeah, go ahead.
There's I don't know if you guys saw it, but GuillotineLeagues.com is doing a special playoffs guillotine thing this year.
Oh.
And it's more like, instead of drafting individual players, you draft whoever you want, and you pit that team against everybody else. and it's like the bottom 10% get cut or bottom 25% get cut each week or something like that.
It does sound kind of interesting. We have to hop in on that.
We might jump in on that.
We have to do a Shrewdness team.
We'll do a Shrewdness team.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. We'll have to draft one online or offline.
Yeah, and all our listeners, you can follow along. Maybe you get in a league too. That could be a lot of fun. So we'll keep you guys posted on what this week looks like. I am anxiously looking at the injury reports to see if Jalen Hurts is going to be playing, or if I need to pick up another quarterback, because when you have folks like Jalen Hurts and Josh Allen at this point, you don't have a backup.
No.
So I'm going to have to pick somebody up off the waiver wire if I don't have Jalen playing. So we'll see how that goes. But we'll keep you guys posted. And we got a great week of football this week because it's the holidays. And besides the fact that the holidays are awesome anyway, because you get to hang out with your friends and family, eat lots of food, give gifts, talk, hang, watch football. There's a game like every second. It
is. College, pros.
Pros. I mean, it's just like it's
football
a dream.
Palooza, and then they throw NBA playoff crap in the middle too, whatever that weird thing is, and the NBA Christmas. It's gonna be a lot of fun, and it's great not having to go to work the next day. So you kind of have Sunday fun day on Tuesday or Wednesday, or Thursday or Friday.
So this week we got 2 games on Christmas. We got a game on Thursday night, as usual. And then they got 3 Saturday games, and then a regular slate, not a regular, but a full slate on Sunday, and then a Monday night game. So the only game you're without NFL, the only day you're without NFL this week is Friday, starting after Wednesday. So, and I'm certain there's bowl games on from a college football standpoint on Friday.
So before we get into going into kind of like our picks and going over our Shrewdness spuds from last week, I want to give credit where it's due. And Saquon Barkley, I know I unloaded on you last week because frankly, you earned it. You earned a good lashing.
He needed it.
Like, I understand it's kind of fun just to not get in the end zone, but when you're chasing down Eric Dickerson's record, I need you to be more assertive. And this week, he came back out, and in that first quarter, when you're sitting pretty with 109 yards and 2 tutties, you're like, there we go. So fortunately, I lost 2 of them. I had them in all 4 leagues. And so I was going to town, and I kept getting slowly whittled. Each week I was losing the team. Like, no. And this was my final team. And this team was really good. I was going to be highly upset had this team lost. But Saquon came back, carried me through. When you get to this point in the semis, you win by 60 points. It makes you feel real good.
Oh, yeah.
So Saquon and the chubby hubby coming in for the overtime touchdown. This is kind of ice on the cake. Amon-Ra, he came back too. He'd been kind of slow the last few weeks. I mean, not horrible, but he was getting in. He
had been a little slow.
12 weeks in a row, and then all of a sudden it was like nothing. But he got back in the end zone, 6 for 70 with a tutty. Hubbard 152 yards, 2 touchdowns. Barkley 152 touchdowns. Bowers was back, 11 for 99. No touchdowns, but that's all right because 11 for 99, you should be able to get by with 20 points. And if you can't do that, trouble in paradise.
Yes.
Do you know what would have saved me?
Starting Bowers over McBride.
One more. I started them both, so one more catch for either one of them.
One more catch. Like maybe that catch that was pass interference to the end zone.
So
done it.
You know what? I think we should put a petition together. If your receiver gets pass interference called on him, it should count as a catch.
Or a half a catch or something.
Or at least a half a catch.
And Mike Evans should always get 1 more yard when his over-under is 70-plus on a Sunday night game.
Totally agree.
It should never be at 69 where we lose our 4-team parlay. If you followed us on our socials,
Woo!
We had 3 of 4, and it was in the bag. Mike Evans got trucked on one. Then he caught the one in the fourth quarter. Like, there it is. And then you had to believe he was going to be targeted at least once on that last drive. Yep. That would have done it, too. And then Rashad White had the weirdest fumble ever. So be it. But keep following us on the socials when we put up our little island bets. They're a lot of fun.
We are regularly hitting 3 of 4 on our parlays, as we did tonight. Yeah. We hit another 3 of 4 tonight. So if you follow us and if you're making those bets individually, you don't have to do the parlay.
Yeah, you're still making money if you make 3 out of 4 bets.
We're giving you 4 good prop bets. And we like to put them all together because there's a big payout at the end, and it's fun if you hit them all. But if you want to just single them, just single them. Because if you're doing that, we're hitting really well. You're probably hitting somewhere around 60-65% of parlay bets for us. So it's been a good parlay betting month, season for us.
Much better than our normal game props. Yeah. But let's get into those, though. So you want to start with our recap of our spuds from last week, Pruitt?
Yeah, so we, if you've been following the show, a couple weeks ago, we quit doing sleepers because, like,
everybody's stars.
Chiz mentioned earlier, all the teams are stars now. Really don't need any sleepers. You kind of got to roll with who you got.
That's right.
At this point. But we are still doing spuds. Last week, we took 2 Texans, Nico and Joe Mixon.
Yeah.
And both of them were spuds.
Spudded.
So,
yes.
Go KC.
Yes.
Against the Chiefs. We called that.
That was a good thinking on our part.
Yep. We hit that one. And then our other 2 were Bijan Robinson and Drake London from Atlanta. Drake London,
he was really good
as a spud. Bijan did not. He had a really good game.
He did.
Despite the rookie quarterback situation, we thought they might load up the box and shut Bijan down, but he still made it.
But Bijan is not stoppable, evidently.
20-something points, I think.
Yeah, I think it's just more the Giants are really, really bad.
Giants are bad.
I think that might be more of it, and did not give that enough credit.
You know how you know you're bad? When you know what's coming and you can't stop it.
Yeah.
That's how you know you're bad. And the Giants are that team this year. They are, we've got one guy over here. Bijan, I'm getting the ball, guys. I'm going to run to the left. And they're okay. You still can't stop it.
He had his 24 touches, so 22 for 94, a couple touchdowns. So congratulations if you stuck with him. And he should have.
For sure.
What's up? And I even said as much. But what's funny, what didn't happen is that he was so effective running the ball against the Giants, they didn't have to check down. He just kind of ran it down their throats for like 4.5 yards of carry. That was amazing. Ridiculous. He's really a ridiculous talent, and he's fun to watch play. But, when you're trying to take little flyers out there, is what it is.
We're not going to hit them all. We haven't hit them all yet. So,
and Michael Penix was actually effective enough. I think that, he didn't have a phenomenal game by any means. I think he threw 202 yards, 1 pick. But, like I said, London was a spud, and that's our number 1. Darnell Mooney, he got 5 for 82. But if you're starting Darnell Mooney in any fantasy leagues right now, I don't know what – you got that Back to the Future book, man. I don't know what's up. You got
right?
The Marty McFly and Biff Buff, whatever the heck his name was. It's Biff, right?
Biff.
Biff's book. But, so we got 3 out of 4, so another solid week. I think we're continuing to keep our 70% hit rate for spuds.
We're at 56.7% on this.
That rounds up to 70.
Right. Yeah.
I think he meant 60, but yeah.
That's
70, 60,
70, right in there.
Round it to whatever you want.
So tying into, since we're talking about our spud game for the Chiefs, I got to go to that game live. It was kind of fun. We just did a lot.
That's right. Yeah.
So spur of the moment, being back in the Midwest, it was a thing that was in the realm of possibility. The weather looked nice. I'm like, you know what? What are we doing? Nothing. All right. So we just zipped west, man. Cruised down I-70. Got some tickets last minute. Great game. So they won 27-19, but you guys obviously knew that because you watched. But here's the takeaways that I wanted to highlight that I'm excited about, at least as a Chiefs fan, but even as a fantasy fan. Hollywood Brown, 8 targets in the first game back since week 1 preseason. So early August, the last time that dude stepped on a field and saw action. He had 5 for 45. Looked pretty good. You can tell a little rust on the routes a little bit, and the timing wasn't quite there. But, wow, do we have something that's going to look really good? DeAndre Hopkins, Hollywood Brown as your outsides. Xavier Worthy whipping around in your slot with, Juju here and there and Miko. That – suddenly our weak wide receiver room is looking pretty decent.
I'd have to say
at the right time.
This is probably the best group of wide receivers that Patrick Mahomes has had in his career.
Tyreek by himself and anyone was going to be a pretty close, if not. Because Tyreek and Kelsey.
But if you look at a group.
Yeah. No, you're right.
You got a really solid group of wide receivers.
Juju's probably the 4 now.
Yeah, he's definitely the 4, maybe
I
the
would
5.
think so. I mean,
Maybe the 5.
Xavier's definitely 3. I mean, they've been
Xavier's
feeding
3.
him more and more and more and more. So
Yeah,
nothing wrong with that. I kind of like it. And they're giving him some runs, right? So they're giving him some pitches. Just when you run that fast, you just have to. And I think it's absolutely essential.
Yeah, it's like setting yourself up for a punt return every play.
Well, you've got those receivers, and you have the two-headed monster of Pacheco and Hunt in the backfield.
Yep.
The tight end situation is good. Kelsey, Gray. I mean, the only thing we have to have come together now is
O-line.
the line. And actually, the O-line probably had one of its better games.
That was my next point. So I got 2 other points on it. O-line was one. I want to hear you guys take, because I don't know what was different, but he actually was not getting crushed each and every play.
Yeah.
So on the TV, what was the commentary saying? What was going on? What did you guys see?
Joe Tooney was moved to left tackle. That was the big change.
Yes.
And they
took
said
an inside guy and moved him outside.
Yeah.
They were saying that that actually hurts their run game because they like to run up the middle with
And
the
that
wall,
was kind of
we talked
evident,
about
man.
Yeah.
Pacheco 9 for 26.
Yeah.
That's not good. But also Patty not getting crushed. I kind of like that. And it opened
really
up.
good.
So Xavier Worthy, he was our leading guy. So 7 for 65 with a touchdown. 11 targets, man. So that is.
He's getting fed the rock, and there was some concern at one point that Worthy might be McCole Hardman 2.0, which, hey.
Oh, yeah. We had the same concerns.
If he was, he's not bona fide yet, but I will say he's trending closer. I'm not saying he's Rashee Rice, but he's trending closer to Rashee Rice than he is McCole Hardman.
Yes.
So if he could be somewhere in the middle, more towards Rashee Rice, that's a W, I would say. So, you got to feel good about it. The defense is still playing really well.
Yes.
And if we can get LJ, correct? LJ? Tackle?
LJ.
JL? JR?
Who are you talking about?
RQ? The
DJ
guy
Humphreys?
DJ!
Just throw some letters together.
DJ! I knew I'd get there eventually.
Let's play 2 letters with Chisholm.
DJ!
Exactly.
DJ Humphreys, if we could get him back to fighting and have him at that left tackle, if he's just league average.
Yeah, that's all we need, man. Just
League
be a solid,
average.
be a B over there.
Yeah.
Would it be too obvious if we moved Tooney to left guard when we wanted to run the ball? And put him at left tackle when we were going to pass?
Don't mind us. We're just, doing some different things here.
No. That means nothing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think as poor as the Chiefs are, according to the media, and as lucky as the Chiefs are, according to the media, you know what? I had an old coach that said, winners win. And when you keep winning, when you're playing every game close, everyone's like, it's so lucky. Winners win. Like, at the end of the day, like, winners have that 2 plays, the 1 play, the 1 lack of mistake, the 1 less penalty, whatever, to get them over the hump. And the Chiefs have that knack.
They do.
So
they just know how to do it.
Dex, I know you were at the game, so not hearing the commentary, but they made a big deal this week. They've said it for a few weeks now, but they made a bigger deal about it this week, is that the Chiefs are number 1 in the league for converting on 3rd down. And exactly what you just said, Chisholm, is that
that's a winner's play.
Get down to the tail end of the game and you can sustain a drive to run out the clock.
Yep.
And you need 1 more 3rd down, and you're the number 1 team in the league getting 3rd downs converted.
That's right.
That's a good formula for winning close games.
Yeah.
It is awesome. And like I said, just with the addition, I think adding Hollywood Brown at this point in the season where he gets these couple games before the playoffs.
Get in rhythm.
Because if we just show up in the playoffs, I would be very nervous. But having a couple games that, here we go, we got this game, then we got Pittsburgh this week, and then we got the final game of the season. I think it's Denver, right?
Denver.
Yeah.
Denver.
I think that'll be that's 3 good defenses. Surtain's probably going to be back by that game. I don't think Surtain's out that long. But regardless, he's going to get tested by some really good players. And I like that. I mean, Pittsburgh D is always going to play, especially at Pittsburgh. So
Yeah.
we're going to learn a lot on Christmas Day and a short week. But just kind of wanted to hit a quick highlight for a quick little pop. Normally, we talk a little bit more about Chiefs and Royals and during the earlier stuff, but we kind of been missing it. But they had an island game, so I want to kind of hit it up.
Yeah.
Before we move
This
on.
is our last week of intense talk about guillotine leagues, right?
That's right.
So
Won't be nothing left.
we'll recap this week, and then we'll have a couple more weeks of non-guillotine into the regular
NFL
season,
playoff,
NFL,
betting
the
talk.
playoffs.
Yep.
And it is going to be, I got to say, the teams that are going to be in the playoffs this year, and we'll talk more about this in future episodes, but it's going to be a fun playoffs. Like it's going to be a fun field this year. You have this is one of the weird years that you don't have, like, it's pretty clear the playoff teams from the non-playoff teams. Usually there's some in the middle, and the guys that sneak in with not good records, and you're like, they're going to be kind of fodder. You don't have any of those. So, like, those first round matchups, it's critical that the Chiefs get this bye. And I think they will, because all they got to do is, we got 4 games that we care about, and we only need one of them to go our way. Right? One of the 2 Chiefs games they need to win.
Yep.
One of the 2 Bills games they need to lose. And we lock that first seed. If we take care of business on Christmas at Pittsburgh, which is not an easy feat, but if you take care of business there, you get an extra week off, and then you got 1, 2, 3 weeks to rest. And, and you guys all know, but I don't know if our listeners know, Andy Reid's record off a bye. It is absurd. He hits it like 80-some% winning percentage when he's coming off a bye. So you give the mad scientist, Big Red, that many weeks to plot out what he's going to do and get ready for your team. It's going to be going to bode well.
Because he'll have 2 game plans no matter who wins.
Totally.
It's going that way. So that'll be kind of fun. But I think what's fun about the AFC playoffs that we look forward to that's going to be coming up for sure is you have Josh Allen's going to be in there. And he's the front runner for MVP. And he, despite this last week, I might have taken a hit because not too many
Lamar's got to gain some traction
That's
off
it.
of that, right?
That's where I'm at. And so we got that. Lamar, who's won 2 MVPs. Russell Wilson's won a Super Bowl and been to another one. Obviously, we know Patty. C.J. Stroud is second year and won the Offensive Rookie of the Year last year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And that's a good Lord, man. You're looking at
and then you got
playoff caliber teams and coaches and players.
Oh, not to mention Justin Herbert
and
and Bo Nix, who, I'm not sold on, but a lot of people are pretty excited about.
But Bo Nix is probably the leading rookie of the year, and if it's him or Brock Bowers and Jaden Daniels, if you're going on all 3, I'm not sure if it's AFC or NFC how that works, but Jaden Daniels should run away with the NFC, I think.
Yeah,
the AFC is probably Bowers or Nix would be my guess,
or like conference by conference. I think.
Yeah, I think that's right.
And
Jaden
so
Daniels.
I think it's kind of a lot of fun stuff that looking forward to. This is going to be some exciting games.
Oh yeah.
So
and you look you go to the NFC side of things, and it's like
same gig,
Like, I mean, the NFC right now, you got Minnesota, right?
You got the NFC Norris, except the Bears.
Everybody except the Bears. You got you've got that whole side of the bracket. You've got Philadelphia.
Packers, Vikings.
Packers, Vikings, Lions. You got
it's going to be the battle of the dirty South.
Upstart Washington.
Yep.
Which is really fun. Philly's always solid. Then an intriguing team, the Rams, right? The Rams who, I mean, talk about a guy who's been there.
Yeah.
Yep. Right?
And they won it, is it 3 years ago, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's right.
Because obviously the last 2 was the Chiefs. So 3 years ago, they won the damn thing with with a wideout, with this quarterback.
And then you're going to have one team that probably, I don't know. Right now it's Atlanta. Could be Tampa. Could be Seattle. None of those teams are probably going to do anything, but that's probably who the Vikings are going to end up playing. One of those.
One of the week 1 punching bags. Unless the thing is that the Vikings control their destiny right now.
Well, if they beat Detroit, they're the one.
That's exactly right. So they go from 5-1, and they get a week off. All they got to do is win the last week of the season.
That's right.
And
That's right.
I mean, obviously, you got to win this week too. We got to beat down the Packers, but
And that's no cakewalk.
that
either,
is
but-
no cakewalk. That is the game where the road teams win all the time. They split. I feel like 90% of the time. It's very rare where you get a 2-0 season against them.
Yeah.
And the
That's
fact
right.
is, we won the first one. I'm like, damn it. But
It is weird in that series how the road team seems to win too, because
It
those are
is.
two really strong home field advantages.
It is, and it's always some janky, weird play. Usually, it does it like, it's never like, oh, we beat them by 14 at home.
Right.
No, it's never one of those.
Yeah.
But I even remember, like, way back in the day, this guy, you're not even gonna remember his name, but we went into Green
I bet
Bay
I do.
with this turd burger of a quarterback, Spurgeon win,
Yes. I
and
remember.
they won. I think it was like a 17-13 game, and this guy is
Spurgeon
god
win.
awful. God awful. I mean, there's dudes on the couch right now better than Spurgeon win, which is probably where he's at right now. Ken, he might be at Raytown Arby's. but
He's
I'm
at the
not
Raytown
sure.
Arby's.
Yeah,
Let's be honest.
he might be a lower level manager down there now. But it's what's up. But
Well,
All right.
exciting football coming our way for sure.
Well, tonight's episode, as we go into picks and things, is brought to you by the official vodka of the Shrewdness, Monkey Head Vodka. When I drink vodka, I drink Monkey Head. And I like to drink it in my Monkey Head shot glass. So
that's a beautiful thing.
yeah, it is, isn't it? Isn't it? Soon to be available on the soon-to-be-available Shrewdness website.
Sweet.
So, if you're looking for that last-second Christmas gift, we can't get it for you. But for next year,
Here's where
it'll be
you start.
available.
Yeah. If you're
Think
looking for
ahead.
our last minute Christmas idea.
We're gonna
You
have
should
the
have thought
merch
ahead.
up and everything else. It's gonna
That's
be
right.
great. Get some of that Shrewdness merch.
No, in all seriousness, we've had a great time doing this show for the last 8 months now,
Yeah.
and we are kind of ramping up the marketing and
Absolutely. We
Publicity
are
effort.
actually gonna have a website soon.
So-
It's one of the projects over the break that I got. So we'll be advancing, and there's going to be more opportunities to engage.
we've also
sure.
engaged the services of a graphic design artist who's going to come up with some T-shirts and other fun stuff for us. So
It's going to be awesome.
Looking forward
stay
to it.
tuned.
So thank you guys for listening. But let's get into our this week's gambling picks, which I know we all like doing. They're fun. They're exciting. And
So
God,
before we do that, though, how did we finish this week, Bruce?
yes, that's why we got to do a quick summary because I feel like finally for 1 week, it ain't me that cost us.
Dexter got a pick, and I was very happy. The streak was broken.
Woo!
Super happy. His Colts pick came through, crushed. Well, crushed for 3.5 quarters.
Oh,
and
my
then it got really close.
Hung on for dear life.
They were legitimately up, I think, 20-some points in the fourth quarter, and I almost just mockingly wrote back, like, even I can't lose this bet. And I didn't, though. I didn't want to anger the
Yes,
gambling
but the
gods.
gambling gods heard what you
They
thought.
did. They heard my thoughts. And then all of a sudden, like, I looked up, I'm like, what in the hell is happening? How is this game 38-30? It was 38 to like 17. They put up 15 unanswered, 23 unanswered. Just kidding.
Yeah, 23
unanswered points.
That
I'm like,
was
this
a,
is unbelievable.
We've never had just a 4-0 laugher week where everything goes
No.
smoothly and
We have,
No.
just not this year.
Yeah, this year has
Oh, wow.
been a struggle. We've been riding the struggle bus for sure. So we got that game. How'd the others go, Panog?
well, Chisholm took Pitt, which was a dog for the second week in a row, which almost never
Which, how in the world do you lose that bet?
right.
Yeah.
Mike Tomlin doesn't lose twice in a row as a dog.
Well, I did.
And he
Because
did.
Russell Wilson did not
cook.
and threw a pick. I was like, we're going in. We're going to tie this baby up. And he throws a pick six, and all of a sudden it's 14 points, and the ball game is over. And
Yep.
Russ
That
was
was
lightly
not-
simmering.
He was-
not cooking.
He was cooking with Jameis instead of cooking with the other guys.
Yeah, he was. He's absolutely kicking with Jameis. So I lost that pick. What else did we have?
We also had San Francisco at Miami, which
It's
was
a lock. I tell you, I don't even know why this line's even here. It's insane. Miami is so bad. San Francisco, this is a lock. Lock of the century. Ramp it.
5 units. 5 units.
5 units.
So that did not happen.
As it turns out, Miami held serve.
And weirdly, that's what kind of Pruitt and I were thinking this entire time. But Miami's not that bad, and San Francisco is horrible. Like, they're broken. They're injured. They're on their sixth-string running back.
Yeah.
Their quarterback looks like Mr. Irrelevant. Debo is like a shell of himself from 4 years ago.
Really?
Like a backup offensive lineman playing running back now, I think, or something.
Yeah.
Exactly. Not good.
And they did not show up at all, so we lost that to take us to 1-2.
And then they had the showdown
track
between
meet.
Tampa Bay and Dallas.
Woo!
That was quite a game.
Yep. That one was one we should have ramped. I think we were all feeling good about the over on that one. That was like an over at halftime.
I picked the over on that one. It was like 36 points or something at halftime, and we only had to get to 48. We barely got there, really. It ended up being a kind of a stalemate the last 5 minutes or something.
We nailed the over,
but we did get to the over, so we went 2-2 this week.
And Padog is how many in a row is this for Padog? Like if you're wanting to pick one person to follow right now,
so
it's the dog.
Yeah, I think kind of what we're pushing forward is like go with Pruitt and Chisholm, fade Dex and Lou, and you'll get a 4-0 week.
4-0. It'll be 4-0. Half the time, it'll be right every time.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, I missed in week 14 and week 10.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been pretty money.
You've had a good stretch.
Yeah, I think I said I was 11-6 overall on the year.
Yeah, you're 11-6. I'm 9-7-1.
Yes.
And
static.
And
then next one is like.
Well, wait. No, Lewis is 5-12.
Lewis is 5-11.
Oh, 11. 5-11. Which he's got to own because he's not here. And then Dexter is somewhere in there.
Yeah.
So 5 and also
in the middle there. In the middle. Somewhere in the middle.
Somewhere in the middle.
All right, so that brings us to this week. So what we're going to do to make it kind of fun this week, because we got games damn near every day of the week. So we got 2 on Wednesday, 1 on Thursday, 3 on Saturday. Then the rest of the slate's on Sunday, Monday. We are doing an early pick. So out of the first 6 games, we're going to give you our pick. And then for Sunday, we're going to do that one as well. Then we're also going to post up some island parlays for kind of the prop bets, but we'll do those kind of closer when we see who's playing, what the injuries look like, and who's the quarterbacks are going to be.
Check the socials. We always get those up. Try to get them up at least an hour before the game, so you can make your bets. So take a look for those.
We like to overanalyze those so we can pick 3 out of 4.
Well, yeah, that's right.
we got to get our 75%.
We need 75% is what we need. That's the goal is 75%. So
by 1 yard, by 1 catch, absolutely, it's fun.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, this is a fun week. We're gonna have 2 sets of games to pick from. Bet at your own risk, but I have a feeling this is the week we go 8-0.
That's
Dex,
right.
Who do you like on the early slate?
All right, early slate. So when I'm looking at all these games, the one number that kind of goes to me. There's some numbers I don't mind, but the Chargers at New England over under. I like the over 42.5, which is what it currently is at. I think the Chargers defense looks kind of broken, man. And New England's offense isn't that bad. Drake May is pretty darn good. Ramondre Stevenson is more than capable. Hunter Henry's moving the ball. Douglas, Jalen Polk. I mean, they have enough offensive weapons to be pretty good. Yeah. 42.5 is low. I mean, 24-21, you're way over. So I think as long as we get to something, it's going to be a competitive game, I believe. I think it's not going to be a snow game. We were kind of looking at the weather reports. It looks like it's going to be just kind of decent, 40s. So I think it's going to be a pretty good game. I think it's going to eclipse the 42.5. I like the over in Chargers at New England this week. I think it's going to be some scoring in that game.
And that's a Saturday game, right?
It is Saturday, yeah.
So it's not the short week. I mean, it's kind of short week, but it's not the Thursday night.
It's the late short week.
Yeah.
The late short week. Our first wave, it's the first week. So first of the week for us. All
right. Chiz, who do you like?
Yeah, so I like a Christmas game. So we don't normally mess with Chiefs games, but we don't pick sides a lot in Chiefs games for a reason. But over-unders, those are kind of more fair game. Right now, the total in that game is 44. And most people would say, you know what? The Chiefs haven't put up a lot of points. They keep putting up that stat. The Chiefs haven't scored more than 30 points all season long, blah, 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 right?
Yep.
They haven't put that up. The Steelers have not looked like themselves lately. So, I think a lot of people were thinking, oh, it's probably going to be cold weather, Pittsburgh. I heard a lot of people were leaning under. I think this is the perfect time to go counter. I think the Chiefs are in a good spot right now. I think they're hitting their stride. I think they could put up one of their biggest totals of the season. And I think Pittsburgh is going to fight. And Pittsburgh is not a team under Tomlin to lose a lot of games in a row. And they're not a team to lose a lot of games by a lot in a row. So I think Tomlin's going to have them ready. They're going to have a good game plan. They're going to put some points on the board. I like the over on the 44. And I'm not an over guy, so that tells you something. If I'm on an over, I generally really believe it because I'm a big under guy. So
yeah, you love unders.
I do love the under because I feel like under's undervalued most of the time.
Undervalued unders.
Undervalued unders, but this one, over. Chiefs, Steelers.
That's
Lock
good.
it up.
And the thing is, I like another part about your pick, Chiz, is that we believe that George Pickens will be back this week, which is not good for the Chiefs. But it is good for that Pittsburgh offense.
It is good for the over.
He's a legit weapon. It's good for the over. And McDuffie's going to have his hands full with him.
For sure.
I mean, Calvin Austin's also been coming on strong. I mean,
he had a really good game this last week. He had a couple really nice catches in deep balls.
That's like 3 straight weeks he's been good. Or 2 straight weeks for sure. I can't remember the third week, but yeah. So I like it.
Pickens definitely puts the moon ball back in play.
Does.
For sure.
He's good on those single coverage. Long.
All right, but Doug, who are you thinking? For the early slate-ish.
So I'm going to look at the Denver and Cincinnati matchup on Saturday.
Yep.
Both teams, playoff teams. As long as something, I don't even know if they can lose it now, but
it'd be really hard.
Yeah, Denver's playing really well. Sorry, I misspoke. Cincinnati is not a playoff team.
No, but Denver likely is. Denver Cincinnati is still alive, technically.
Yeah.
So
Cincinnati needs this game.
They got to win.
Yeah.
Got to win out and have a few things happen to squeak in.
A lot of things happen.
Cincinnati's offense has not been the problem. It's been their defense.
Certainly not.
So I like the over in this game. Denver's been putting up a lot of points the last 3 or 4 weeks. Cincinnati's been allowing a lot of points, and Cincinnati's offense is very potent. They'll score a bunch of points on their own. So
yeah, and I think I could put up a bunch of points agat Cincinnati's defense.
Yes.
So
all you got to do is throw it up.
So it's a relatively high total. It's like up to 50 points. But I think this could easily be a 31-24 type game.
We might even get a Detroit Buffalo 48-41 kind of game in this one.
Just
or a 34-31, 34-27, 34-28, whatever.
A lot of points.
I could see lots of different scenarios where this one gets above 50. So I'm taking the over.
I like it.
Cincinnati game.
So we got 3 overs for you.
3 overs.
And we've been taking a lot of unders this season. So I don't know, something's in the cocktail drinks for Christmas right now, but that's
right.
All right. I mean,
That's
Monkey
right.
Head vodka.
Well,
go over.
Speaking of Monkey Head, does Lewis?
Did Lewis call in?
Did Lewis have a pick for this? I do. I gotta tell you something. I'm looking at these numbers and I'm like, there's no way. There's no way that this line is what it is. I love the Cincinnati Bengals in that game. The Cincinnati Bengals. I mean, have you watched Jamar Chase? Have you watched him? He's literally uncoverable. You can't cover him. I'm serious, guys. You can't cover him. So why would you ever pick against the Bengals, especially in a game they got to win? I just went to Mickey Mouse all of a sudden. I'm now Mickey Mouse voice.
You went up
Switch voices. Lewis,
So,
that's all right. I like it, Lou.
so if you're
There you
picking
go.
at a Saturday game, I'm telling you, I would put 37 units on the Bengals minus. I don't even care what the line is. Lock it up.
That's
So and Lou, that's minus 3.5, right?
Yeah.
Minus 3.5 for Cincy. So they're going to have to win substantially. But again, if we think it's going to be a 34-31 game, we're screwed. If it's that 34-27 game, there we go. So let's go.
Surely we won't lose by a hook in that game.
Surely not. That never happens to us. We've never lost our parlay by a goddamn hook.
That's not happening. Right. Come on.
You could also just buy the hook, Shrewdness fans. So maybe
you could buy the hook. We might do that.
You might buy the hook on that one.
I might buy 4 points on that one. I don't know.
Yeah, on the tees, I might be going to 9 or something. We'll see what's up.
Feel free to fade one of us that's 12 or whatever.
It's a strategy. It's a strategy.
That does work. I mean, it did work last week fading Tennessee. When you go against a 2-12 team to not cover the spread when they've not covered it the other 12 times,
right?
It can help.
It can help.
Well, I don't know. I think I pulled up a stat on this one. I just wanted to double check that I wanted to be wrong, but yeah, number 1 against the spread record for this season, 11-4, the Denver Broncos.
Oh, how about that?
So
that's interesting. It's an interesting stat.
I mean, hey.
Well, you know what you got here? You got that regression to the mean argument.
Regression.
You got a whole lot of this happening.
Right.
Even it out.
Regression to the mean. That's right.
So let's segue into Lewis's second pick for the weekend.
Oh, Lewis's second pick for the weekend. Dex is. How did Lewis get over at your house? How did Lewis?
See, it's unbelievable to me. But I don't even understand how we even get here because it's obvious. It's obvious. I mean, of course, I already went against the number 1 team against the spread, Cincy against Denver. So now I'm going to take the worst team against the spread, Tennessee, because they're 2-12. They're due. Actually, 2-13 now. They're due. And I know what you're thinking. They're going against Jacksonville. I've looked at it. It's okay. I mean, it's 2 teams battling for the number 1 pick. What could go wrong? What could go wrong with this pick? So, Tennessee...
I mean, Lewis, are you concerned at all that both these teams want to lose this game?
Wait, give me better rationale than that, Chisholm. I mean, that's just, I don't like the pick. Is that what you're bringing to me, Chisholm? No, that is weakness. So what I'm telling you is Tennessee, take the points, 1.5, because inevitably it'll probably miss a 2-point conversion and lose. But and then you'll still cover the bet. But I believe Tennessee is going to go on the road in Jacksonville and win. Despite all odds, all metrics, all ATS spreads this year, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Lewis, I don't see any flaw in the logic there.
That's a bold pick.
Bold strategy there, Cotton. Two teams that are horrible against the spread. Go
lock them up both. Let's do it.
Lock them up. This is the week that Lewis is going to clown us. You watch. He's not here. This is the week Lewis wins both his bets.
And then he'll be on for sure next week to remind us wholeheartedly.
He will not miss next week. He will not miss next week's podcast. You know,
so you
last
guys
2 weeks have been busy.
Last week about my picks, were you? So you know what? Units, extra units, lateral.
You know what? I think if Lewis goes 2-0, next week might be a solo Lewis podcast. He may be the only one
you would love
on the podcast.
We may just be heads listening.
He's actually requested to do that.
He has. He's requested.
I don't know if it's been requested or threatened. I don't know which way it is. And I don't know the motives behind it, or like altruistic, or like, hey, you guys can't make it. I got you.
Right.
And he's too excited about it, which has us nervous about it.
Absolutely.
So we haven't had that one yet, but maybe I fully expect there to be a one-off that none of us know about that suddenly is posted up, and we're all going to be there with you, surprised when it's all of a sudden up
on
happen. Spotify.
It'll happen. Look at that.
There's all 4 of us, but only one of us. All right. So Lewis has his pick, Tennessee plus 1.5 at Jacksonville. Chisholm, what do you got?
Yeah, so for the Sunday slate, there's a game that I circled. And if you listen to the podcast, one of the things I'm big on is divisional unders. These teams are familiar with each other. They know each other. They play each other tough, tight. There's a particular division under that I'm interested in, and it is the Jets and the Bills. So the Jets and the Bills are squaring off. I like the under here for a couple reasons. One, weather. 2, division. 3, the Jets are horrible. They are beyond broken. They're starting to do it's starting to happen. The Aaron Rodgers implosion is happening in real time. When things go bad, Rodgers just loses his mind, and you see him like screaming at coaches and yelling at people, and he goes full diva, and he's in full diva mode right now. They don't have anything to play for. They're not going to score a lot of points, I don't think. And the number is like 46, 47-ish, somewhere in there.
Yep.
Like the under, because I don't think the Bills are going to do that all by themselves. I can't see the Jets getting more than 10. So I think the under feels pretty good. Lock it.
That looks pretty good. And, yeah, I mean, even if the Bills, if they get up, they'll just run the ball more.
Yep.
He's going to eat up the clock, and you'll see Ray Davis. You'll see plenty of him.
Yeah.
And I agree. I like the pick. All right, Padog, what you got for our Sunday slate?
So for Sunday, I don't know. I've been pretty high on Tampa Bay this year, but they are going up against Carolina this Sunday, and Carolina has shown a lot of improvement.
They're feisty.
The last few weeks. They are getting 8 points on the road.
It's a lot of points in a division,
which is a lot of points. It is a division matchup. It's a relatively low over-under, if I'm not mistaken. I typically like the underdog in that situation.
Yep.
So
I do too.
Give me Carolina +8 at Tampa Bay on Sunday.
Carolina +8. I like it. Also, Bryce Young playing a lot better.
Yeah, he's looking like he could be legit their franchise quarterback. He's playing with
the
moxie.
Like that.
The throws are there. He's making the right runs when he needs to. He's scrambling.
Yeah.
He needs to have an Adam Thielen every year, though.
Yeah. So Thielen's back. You mentioned Chuba Hubbard's playing really well.
Yep.
They've got something decent happening here in Carolina.
If you look since November 1st, Carolina's only had one stinker.
Yeah,
the game they were favored, right?
Yeah, the Saints
against Dallas.
They beat the Saints. They beat the Giants. They lost by 3 to the Chiefs. They lost by 3 in overtime to the Buccaneers the last time they played.
Yeah, Philly.
Philly was 6, and then the Dallas game was the stinker. It was 16, and then the Cardinals they beat in overtime. Cardinals were playing for their playoff lives. Carolina didn't have anything to play for.
Yeah.
So they're clearly still playing full tilt, and I think Bryce is starting to have some stuff click. And you know what? He's a good kid. I like watching Bryce do well. He's a good kid. Too. I like him.
Yep. No, I agree with that. I like that a lot. All right, so I'm going to close out for our Sunday slate. I am going back to the well, and hopefully it doesn't bite me. But the Colts.
You're on a roll, Dex. You're on a roll. You won. You won one in a row.
One more, and that's a winning streak.
That's right.
2 in a row, and a third in a row, a winning streak. All right, so I'm going to take the Colts -8 at New York because I think New York has completely mailed it in. They can't stop anybody. They can't do anything. And Indianapolis, I think they're like, we were just thunder punching Tennessee up, like I said, 20-some points. Then they let their foot off the gas. And then all of a sudden it became like, oh, my God, we may actually lose this stupid game. So I think they're going to get up and stay up on the road at the Giants because the Colts have to win. They have no room for error. So I think they're going to just pound and pound and pound. And then for the Giants, kind of what we talked about a couple weeks ago and Lewis brought up, what are they playing for, man? A win just screws their draft position.
Right.
So I don't see really any incentive. I think we'll see more Drew Lock, who I really thought he'd be better, but he's just not. And it just doesn't matter because their defense is so atrocious. It truly doesn't matter. And so I think when
they're also going for the perfect winless season at home. So they're 0-8 at the Meadowlands this year. I have a friend who is sadly a season ticket holder to the New York Giants, and he posts pictures from their tailgates. It's pretty phenomenal, actually. There's a lot of signs about burning it all to the ground.
Yes.
And so I think they are hoping for the winless home season.
That's it.
Out of this.
Like, give yourself a chance at Travis Hunter, Shador, something, man. Give yourself something. But I think -8, while it is a large number, I also think this shouldn't be close. I mean, it's 34-7. Michael Penix just thunder punched them 34-7. And yeah, they don't have Bijan. Oh, they have Jonathan Taylor.
Right.
So I think that should be just fine. And Anthony Richardson's he's playing, he's running really well now. I think they're starting to give him more design runs. So if they can keep that up, I think they'll just control the game. I think they'll get up and hopefully they can just take it to the bank. So Colts 9-6 against the spread, Giants 4-11 against the spread. I kind of like that part of it too. Yeah, so I'm going with it. I feel good.
But Dex, are you not concerned that the Giants are only 9 games back from the last wild card spot?
Chipping a chair. By week 4 next season, they could be there. All they got to do is win out this year and all of next year.
Right.
So to your earlier point, there are 5 teams that are 3-12. They're the only 2-13 team. They need to continue their losing ways.
They are in pole position, and they want that one pick, baby. They want that one pick.
That's right.
And they are well on their way. There's no incentive for them to win. They need the top pick. So
yeah, and if they do happen to pull off a miracle against the Colts, their final game this season is at the Eagles. So that ought to do it. That spread will be fun to discuss next week. It'll be somewhere in the 25-point range, probably.
Yeah, it'd be atrocious. All right, so to kind of recap what we got, so our early slate, we got Chargers New England over 42.5, KC Pitt over 43.5, Denver Cincy over 50.5, and then we have Cincy minus 3.5 versus Denver. Then going into our Sunday pocket, we've got Tennessee plus 1.5. We got Carolina plus 8. We got Jets at Buffalo under 46.5. And then we got the Colts minus 8. But I'm not one to talk. I scoff because Tennessee has only screwed us every single time. Every single time we try to take Tennessee to actually cover this year, they have lost. Oh, yep, that's exactly right. Even the Monkey Vodka is not agreeing with that particular one. But
I had to take that swing before I made that bet.
Yeah. But as we repeatedly say here at the Shrewdness, we will be placing all these bets.
That's right.
We may be also placing some fade bets to try and get some money back, some strategery there. But at the end of the day, we put it all on there because we're with it. Shrewdness.
They're happening.
We don't just throw it out there like, oh my God, these guys don't even bet this trash. Oh yeah, we do.
They're happening.
And there's not too many buy-ins we do each year.
No.
I'm hanging pretty well this year.
I'm on the original. I'm on the original.
I'm not rebought.
So I want to throw out a couple things here for some. We got we're little more time. I want to get you guys' take on something different because we're headed to the holiday season. We've got some bowl games. First ever college football playoff is happening this right now. They had the first round. First round games were atrocious. It was 4 absolute laugher blowout games. But the next round has got some intriguing matchups to it. And that's going to be happening.
So it's almost like the college football playoff people knew the best teams the previous few years, too, and just left out.
It's really weird,
9 through 12.
It's almost like the 4-team playoff was really the 4 best teams, and now we're just taking a little longer to get to
not even that controversial,
teams.
really. But
right?
Hey, man, more football. That's fun.
But I will say there's some interesting spreads. There's 2 games that are really close, and the 2 games that are really close. So they effed up the seeding because college football F's everything up, but they effed up the seeding, and they put the 4 best teams probably, arguably 4 of the top 6 teams are playing each other. Probably the 2 best teams are playing each other in the next round.
That's been a lot of
Oregon, Ohio State.
Yes.
Right?
That's a big one.
Now that game, January 1st, and it's a Oregon plus 2.5 spread. I'll read all these off to you in the Final Four and then see what you guys, if you have any that you like, and we can discuss. Notre Dame and my beloved Notre Dame Fighting Irish are playing
Golden
Georgia.
Domers.
The Golden Domers, baby. They're playing Georgia. Georgia is a 1.5 favorite at the Sugar Bowl. Texas is playing Arizona State. Arizona State has one of my favorite players, Cam Skattebo. He's the running back.
The real Heisman.
Yeah, and Arizona State is 14-point underdog in that game.
Ooh.
And then Boise State, Penn State, who had the other one of my favorite running backs, Ashton Jante, who is probably arguably should have won the Heisman. We could talk about that another time. But Boise
closest
State,
vote ever, right? Was it
closest vote ever? Closest vote ever. Boise State is an 11-point underdog in that. So you got two huge spreads, two tight spreads. You guys have anything you like early on in that little matchup?
So I was at the Gophers Penn State game.
Yep.
And the Gophers had that game won.
They did.
They did. It was.
I know.
They should have won the game. Okay, Now they didn't, which is how all my bets go down too. Look, I was winning for 59 minutes and 50 seconds, but you have to win for 60 minutes. And so I'll give Penn State some credit. They got that one tight end guy. I'm blanking on his name, but he is a freaking beast, and he can own a game. But Boise State can run and control the clock, which is why they're here. It's why they're in this game. It's why they're in this position.
That's right.
I really like Boise State. Flat out is almost a damn near money line to win the game. But I think for sure
I like them too in that game.
To cover 10.5, I like them for sure. I'm putting money on that. And hey, man, maybe that's good for Penn State. But I think Boise State is going to be a way tougher opponent. I don't know what 10.5 is a lot. I was really surprised to see that line. 11. It's getting worse. Did somebody get hurt? Is Ashton not playing?
No. Nope.
All right, so I don't know then why that's happening.
I don't either.
Defense just really bad, and I know that it looks like the over/under is 52 points, so maybe it's just a defensive issue is their problem.
You know what?
Penn State is going to score. That's fact.
They're going to score, but if you look at I think there's some bit of Boise State hasn't played the rigorous schedule, and sure they haven't, but they did play Oregon, who's the number 1 team in the country, and they only lost by 3.
Yeah,
at Oregon. So I mean, it was early. I get it. It's just week 2, whatever. So
who cares?
Change, but like that is I like that. I like that. I'm gonna put my eye on that. Maybe next week we'll make official picks, but we'll give a little. If you want to try to get the early line because these games happen on the 1st.
Yeah.
So I guess they will be before next week. Anything you're leaning through early?
No, I like to wait on these games. I think the big spreads always seem too big for me. I think those games because they're bowl games, they tend to be a lot tighter. So I like the underdog picks if I'm picking today.
Yeah, I do too. I think Dexter's pick was good. I actually like the other big underdog too. I like Arizona State.
Yeah.
Plus
Texas
14.
Is good though.
Texas is good. They're really good, but 14 points. Man, that's a lot of points, and I have watched Arizona State a couple times. Their running game is legit, and I
just don't know if they can score enough. I don't think they can score enough is the thing.
Yeah.
So so NFL teams have a really good way of changing on the fly and stopping the bleeding when something's going wrong. College teams, not so much. So if a good team like Texas gets up early, it can get ugly fast.
Well, you saw that I was shocked of the first round games. The game that I thought was going to be the best game was Tennessee Ohio State. I was really excited. I'm like, man, this is going to be a good game.
Yeah, that was shocking to me.
Ooh!
That was just a
butt whooping in the first 10 minutes, and it was one of those games that it was like Tennessee, and I think it is. You're talking about 18 to 22-year-old guys. They get shell shocked.
Yeah,
and they were running around what do we do? What do we do? We're getting the crap beat out of us, you know. It's happened? Like in the pros, they're used to they take shots,
right?
And they're like, okay, we'll regroup. We'll make some adjustments. We'll figure it out. And I think it's a lot harder to get that ship turned in college.
Exactly right. That's my thinking. So I got to think more about it before I get to that point. But
we'll do it. We'll do some college football picks next week because
give me another week to study up.
We got another week to study up on them, but it's interesting lines because you got 2 basically pick 'em games.
Right.
You got 2 huge
Big
line
margin.
games.
Yeah.
And that's going to make for an interesting matchup. And then, of course, there's lots of other bowl games that are going to be happening between now and then. We won't talk about those, but especially because if you guys are college football fans, like a lot of us are, the NIL and the transfer portal has made it where you don't know who's going to be playing on
Year
these
by
teams
year.
because and even this bowl season, Marshall, the Thundering Herd from Marshall, had to renege on their acceptance of a bowl invite because 25 players entered the NIL or entered the transfer portal.
What?
So they did not have enough players to
missed
field the team. So they had to go with another team. So this is the world that we're living in, especially on these lower bowl games.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like where it's like nobody cares. Hey, I want to go somewhere where I can make more money. You know, they're not hanging around to go play in the Poinsettia Bowl.
But don't they have an English class to get back to?
Yeah,
Right. Don't they have to go to physics and work on their labs?
Right.
It doesn't make any sense, Chisholm.
It's almost like they're just doing this for the money.
It's almost like they're not going to school anymore.
Right?
Like, why don't we just have a minor leagues? Like, once you're 18, you can play football and we'll just pay you.
Totally.
Stop going to college because it's not college sports anymore.
No, it's
like
it's rapidly
scholarships
evolving.
aren't even a thing. It's like, oh,
No.
that's cute. $30,000 a year. Give me my $1 million and my family tickets and a few Range Rovers and sweet Avi. And
I gotta have the suite.
I need all ugh.
It's
making me
totally
sick.
evolving.
Like I love capitalism, but this is college, man. Are you college or are you a business? You can't be
ruining the game. I think what you're gonna see introduced is they're gonna have to introduce some new rules, probably something around the idea of contracts where these players have to stay for a certain period of time.
Kind of like when you get drafted. You almost be drafted to college now.
Right.
Instead of
right now it's like a year by year free agency, and you don't even get that in the pros.
Yeah.
Right.
So
like Tom Brady it was an interesting, I don't know what it was, just a little talk about, but it's mostly about competition and like the way that the college sports getting killed now is that you don't have to work your way into anything. You can just transfer your way into a starting job instead of like, he's like, I didn't start every
Would Tom Brady have been Tom Brady if he didn't have to go through what he went through?
And no.
Right.
Is probably my quickest answer to it.
I agree.
Because you have to you have to want it more than somebody and you have to compete for it.
That's
and
right.
if you just transfer over like, I'm just going to go to a crappier school just to play. I mean, sure, you're playing now, but now you're in a lower division, whatever the case may be. And even if it's not, like if you're in Bo Nix and playing year 22 and you just go to like here to here to here and cool, you are keep playing, but I don't know. Like, what are you really getting out of that if you just keep moving to new jobs? And Jalen Hurts thing was different. So Jalen Hurts had to leave because Tua was there. I'm like, all right, well, yeah, you got to go to Oklahoma or something. But these other guys just, I mean, you want to play. I don't know, man. I guess it is short. I don't know.
Most of these guys
doesn't seem like the system's right now. It seems all broke.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there is something to be learned from. So it's funny because I actually went to a Notre Dame Michigan game, 1999, and the battle was between Tom Brady and Drew Henson.
Oh yeah,
starting quarterback was at Michigan.
Yeah,
right, and they both played in that game. And I remember watching, and like Drew Henson played, and they split time in the game, and everyone was talking about the battle and who was better. Is Brady or Henson better? Is Brady or Henson better?
Yeah.
And it's really funny because like you look at that and like that's the kind of stuff. If Brady, because he wasn't the starter, Henson was the starter.
That's
first.
absolutely right. Yep.
And so in today's day and age, Brady transfers. And Brady goes to play for Arizona because he could start.
Yep.
And like, think about what that did for Brady, working behind Drew Henson, having to make himself better every game so that he'd be better, and how that translated to the pros. Because then he went to the pros.
Drew Bledsoe.
He was behind somebody.
Yep.
Drew Bledsoe.
And he wasn't going anywhere.
Wasn't he third string?
And I think when he first got there, he was third string. So it was like, you know, the metal that you get from that and the lessons that you learn, I do worry that some of these college kids aren't learning. And I wonder if that's why you're seeing so many higher percentage of busts that we're getting in the pros. You look at like Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams, I'm not saying he's a bad kid. It's a little weird. I'm not saying he's a bad kid, but he went to Oklahoma, and then he went out to USC because he could make more money out of USC. And, everything was like giving him on a platter. He was playing for these super teams all the time. And now you get thrown into Chicago and everything sucks. Your offensive line can't block.
Yeah.
Like, what kind of leader are you? You haven't been through it. You haven't been through that. And that's a big deal in the NFL. So it's going to be interesting to see. The other thing that's going to be interesting in the college game is how many of these guys are going to stay in college. Like, think about the running backs.
It's going to be hard to find a senior anymore.
Well, but think about this, though. Certain positions, if I'm a running back, I don't get paid in the NFL. I might be able to, if I'm Ashton Jonte, I may be able to make more money in college.
Yeah, one more year running somewhere.
Than I will on a rookie deal. Because unless I'm drafted top 10, I'm probably not going to be making like life-changing money. And I got to stay on a rookie deal for 3-4 years before I get paid. And I may be broken by then.
Exactly.
Right? So
and less games, right? Less games, less wear and tear.
Less wear on your body.
Schedule.
Less wear and tear on your body. Plus, I get to be a god for another year on campus and
you're
live it up.
Getting hit by college linebackers and not NFL linebackers.
Right. Yeah. So that part could be interesting, right? Because it's like some of these positions that are undervalued, either the NFL is going to have to adjust or it may change the game a little bit.
It'll be interesting to see what happens.
We can get into this in a separate episode, but this is cascading down. I think it's a societal thing now. It's cascading down to middle schoolers that are jumping club teams because there's a opportunity or whatever. And,
I can start on this team in middle school.
No, it is a legit thing right now.
Yeah.
And my kid's middle school team, there's a kid that he's really good. He can play on the middle school team, but there's this other private team up north. Play for them because the scouts come to their games. I'm like, in 8th grade, man?
Right.
Yes.
Like, and they do though.
And so I got to think that 8th grade's not the time you want to peak.
No. That is my entire point, Pruitt. That's my point. Like, 8th grade, man. Like, come junior year.
All on the same page with this, but it's worth a longer talk, in my opinion, on a separate episode.
Yeah. Well, maybe an off season is something we can tackle because when we have some of these downtimes, we can hit some of these fun topics that you guys can jump around with us.
It applies to every sport at really every age nowadays. So
yeah, it does for sure.
Anyway,
we'll
get
that.
into that in more detail in the off season. Maybe for that bone crushing 2 or 3 weeks where baseball's not started yet and football.
That's right. And we're just in the desert.
Looking for somebody to talk about.
That's it. All right. Well, as we go into this weekend, Chisholm, good luck with the championship.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hopefully my team can hang on in my oldest league I've ever been in, football championship. I think I've only won it a couple times. Usually something weird happens. But this year I'm like, well, here we are. Let's make it happen.
You got a shot. Do it.
Let's take it to
I'd like to provide a final score update.
Yeah.
124.34.
Yep.
Minus 123.56. I lost by 0.78.
How did it go down? Did he fumble?
He must have lost yards on a.
My God! He came in and lost more yards. This is Josh Jacobs for those who may have forgotten who we're talking about. So Podog's been battling Josh Jacobs all night to try and keep his head.
One little flip out to Josh Jacobs on the edge for a 2-yard gain is what took me out of season.
And that's what it comes down to, folks. Just understand, when you're playing these guillotine leagues, that's what it comes down to. You may end up having your soul crushed by just one little play. That happens a lot.
Or a completion to a tight end that gets called back for a questionable holding call.
That's right.
Yeah,
absolutely.
He doesn't get his 3-yard catch. He gets a 0 for that play.
And I will say to everybody who listens, hey, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, New Year.
Absolutely.
Enjoy the family. Enjoy the time together. This is the stuff that matters.
Yep.
Soak it up because you never know when you won't have it. So make sure that you take the time, spend the time with those folks that you love. Tell them you love them. and just soak up that time that you get. It's really precious.
Absolutely. Well said.
Well
Chiz.
said. Yep. Agreed.
Awesome.
Well, that's a wrap for this week.
Go win those
Christmas.
guillotine leagues.
Good luck in your finals if you've made it this far. Chiz, good luck next week.
That's it.
You guys are part of the team, baby. We're gonna bring it home. We're bringing it home.
Then like, follow, subscribe, so you can hear how it turns out next week.
Absolutely.
In this Christmas season, we do appreciate all the support we've gotten from our listeners over this last 6 or 8 months. We hope to continue building on that, making the Shrewdness something that you want to tune into every week. Tell your friends,
Absolutely.
like and follow, all those good things.
Yeah, word of mouth
Be
helps a
back
bunch.
next week.
Absolutely.
All right.
See you guys
That's
next
it for
week.
now. Shrewdness Podcast signing off. Have a great week.